machines are getting smarter, so let's get smart about machines. That is what IMPAKT has been doing over the years. That's what we're doing now. I'm Keulemans. I'm really happy to be here again, having been involved in IMPAKT over the years. You know what IMPAKT does, but it's important, so I'll say it again. IMPAKT presents critical and creative views on contemporary media culture and on innovative audiovisual arts in an interdisciplinary context. It's always about society, the big themes happening today about digital culture, about media, and we approach it from the arts, from the academia, from the technology. The whole view, IMPAKT opens it up over the whole wide range of entrances. So at moments it can be dystopian, at moments it can be utopian. IMPAKT offers its artists and curators and visitors the liberty to choose the whole bandwidth, from techno-criticism to analysis to resilience to finding, creating, designing new opportunities. Now, this year, IMPAKT, its annual program, has chosen the theme Post-Truth, which obviously topical theme. And in a minute, I'll introduce to you the 3 curators of this year's festival who took that theme into the theme for this festival, Algorithmic Superstructures. Algorithmic superstructures, it says on the website, are looking over your shoulder, moving as you move, determining what you see, anticipating what you desire. They construct the reality around us. So how and when did that happen? And why haven't we noticed? Well, we're noticing now. We're noticing here. Tonight is going to be a program with 2 parts. First, we'll have the so-called bird's view of the program. It's sort of a wink of a bird's view, because we'll have impossibly brief introductions to some of the main protagonists of this festival. A bit of the work you'll be able to see extensively in the coming few days. And the next part of the program is the keynote by Adam Greenfield, who I'll introduce later. To begin with, of course, I am happy and honored to introduce founder and artistic director of IMPAKT, Arjon Dunnewind.
Dankjewel, Chris. Thanks, welcome all of you at the opening of the IMPAKT Festival 2018. We are very happy to have you here with us in het Huis Utrecht, our home and festival center for the upcoming days. We are most grateful that you are joining us in this festive moment, the beginning of the 29th IMPAKT Festival. It has been an exciting year for all of us so far. The relocation to a new building at the Lange Nieuwstraat 4 has offered us some really exciting new possibilities. In our new headquarters, we have started IMPAKT Center for Media Culture, a venue that allows us to offer a full annual program of digital culture to add to Utrecht's already very rich program and calendar. In our own venue, we can now present critical and creative projects, exhibitions, screenings, events, residencies, workshops, and other kinds of presentations all year round. With the new IMPAKT Center for Media Culture and with our IMPAKT Festival, we will address the many new possibilities and dilemmas of our digital age. We will explore the ways technology and media are changing our lives in more and more radical ways, and how we can better understand their workings. We will interrogate the power it gives to those who control them, but also the potential they provide us with, the innovative ways we can utilize them ourselves to build and strengthen democratic, pluriform societies. Earlier today, we opened Algorithmic Superstructures exhibition in the IMPAKT Center and the exhibition spaces of Fotodoc and Casco, and the exhibition by HKU Art Academy students in the Academy Gallery. These shows are open until the 11th of November, and I encourage you all to go there if you haven't done so already. We are very proud of the many collaborations with artists that we have had this year. You can see the results in the festival exhibition, but also here in het Huis Utrecht during the festival. We're also very proud of our collaboration with Bellingcat and the Residencies in Utrecht program. Elliott Higgins, the founder of the online research collective Bellingcat, will give a presentation in the festival program upcoming Saturday. He will present his organization, the methods Bellingcat is using in the cases like the MH17 to which they made breakthrough contributions. And from the 13th to the 15th of November, Bellingcat will return to Utrecht with a 3-day workshop at the IMPAKT Center. The central focus of the IMPAKT Annual Program 2018 is what some are terming our post-truth era. What does that mean? Why are people losing confidence in the traditional sources of information? What are the consequences of social media and new online platforms becoming the prime source of information and interpretation of world events? What mechanisms are driving these online resources? How can they get manipulated? And how are they connected to existing and new power structures in our society? In the IMPAKT 2018 annual program, we addressed several of these key questions and issues concerning the idea of a post-truth era. In the festival, we will do this with a special focus, as Chris already said, the role algorithms play in our society. Algorithms that maybe, for most of us, were something that was only of interest to nerdy computer programmers, have now moved to the center of attention of politicians, the media, and the general public. In a world where the information we receive is selected and customized for us by computers, and where we all rely more and more on decisions that are made for us by automated processes, it is essential for us to understand how these decisions are being made. Algorithms are at the very core of these processes, and therefore it is crucial that we understand how they work, who is designing them, and when and how they are employed. I wish to thank all of you for your attendance, for your enthusiasm, and for your willingness to explore and embrace these topics with us. I also would like to thank all of our funders, and I hope the slide with the funders can go on screen. On the slide here, you can see the many supporters of our annual program, of our festival, and of our residencies. And I would like to mention a few of our most important partners. Het Huis Utrecht, that is our host, the HKU and the Academy Gallery, Casco Fotodoc, Residencies in Utrecht, and Stichting Werkruimte Kunstenaars. I want to extend my gratitude to IMPAKT's Supervisory Board for their support and advice, and to the IMPAKT team who have been working hard for the past months and have an exciting week ahead of them with our festival program. Before I leave you to enjoy the talk with our festival curators and the rest of the opening program, I would like to ask you for a warm applause for all our funders, partners, and the entire IMPAKT team.
Thank you, Arjon. I always love the way this man speaks. He's eloquent, he's understated. He doesn't show that he's actually proud and excited because he opened, finally, his new Center for Media Culture today in the Lange Nieuwstraat. I mean, we know Arjon, he can look modest, but actually he's a warrior for media culture, and I really believe you need an ovation for that. He's not the only warrior. 3 curators of this festival are going to join me here now for a very, very brief introduction to the way they operate and the themes and the works they chose. Luba, Elliott, Yasemin, Keskintepe, and Aninkina. Please join me on stage. You can stand here. This is the bar table. I'm afraid you're going to have to share the mic. Luba, I'll introduce you first. Luba, curator, researcher, consultant. She specializes in creative applications of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, art, technology, design, that's her field. She gets people together at our creative AI meetups where coders, designers, technologists, industry professionals to promote the creative application of artificial intelligence in art, music, film, design, and beyond. So Luba, I believe it was you who got the three of you together to apply to be the curators of this year's IMPAKT Festival. Tell me, how did you move from the post-truth theme to the theme that you chose for the festival, the algorithmic superstructures?
Yeah, so when I looked at the call for proposals for IMPAKT, I was immediately attracted to the theme of post-truth because it felt very topical in terms of the latest political developments and the interests the artists and designers had in responding to our current state of things. And I thought, who could be a good partner in putting together a festival? And I immediately remembered Alex, who has always been thinking very deeply about the role media culture and so on can play in our world. So I thought I will rope in Alex into this project. And then we brought on Yasemin to add the exhibition and to kind of bring and further develop the concept.
Mm-hmm. How did you? One more question, Luba. How did you, let's say, approach the theme of the algorithm, the algorithmic superstructures, even? How did you translate that into this program?
Well, in terms of translating the theme into the program, we know that IMPAKT has a great tradition of combining screenings with talks, panel discussions, exhibitions and workshops, and we thought that we would make sure that all these elements kind of communicated some of the questions we were deliberating with as curators, and also offered the audience an opportunity to hear the different points of view and think in more depth about them, and also kind of reenact or move further towards solutions.
Okay. Yasemin, Keskintepe, you're the curator of the exhibitions that were open this afternoon. We were able to see them briefly, and it takes more time, of course, to go deeply into all the work. You're a curator, researcher, always examining the politics and poetics of the digital condition. You work in Karlsruhe at the ZKM, the world-famous Center for Art and Media, where you co-curated the exhibition Open Codes, Living in a Digital World. Here you focused on these two exhibitions. Can you tell us a bit about the way that these works combine into giving us a view of the algorithmic superstructures? Are they governing us? Are we able to use them to create our own liberties?
We use algorithmic superstructures more as a metaphor that we created.
Keep talking closely.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay. So algorithmic superstructures is more meant as a metaphor, also to be critically assessed itself. So it's not a fully fledged material thing that is out there, but is also it's a provocation to our audience itself, and the exhibition basically looks at the side of algorithmic governance and the physical, the material infrastructures, as well as the rationale, the logics that run through the technical devices, the interfaces, the protocols that we use every day. And yes?
Keep using the microphone. It's in your hands, so use it.
Yeah, so the exhibition, or in the exhibition, the pieces, they look at the creation or the capturing of data, the circulation of information, the creation of publics, and imagining new speculative public democracies that we could imagine leading from this concept.
Is there one or two works you would specifically like to mention for us to really, really take our time to go into deeper?
I think all of them
For
are
sure,
worth
for sure.
seeing. But personally, I particularly like a work where the artist created a data set on what a machine deems to be European. So in times of where Europe is in so
Europe, sure.
The artist really really questioned, so what is Europe and how, or what is a machine's understanding of Europe? So he created a whole data set of imagery through machine learning, basically.
Did you mention the name of the artist in the work?
No, it's Constant Dulat. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Cool.
would be one of the highlights.
Sure, and many more. Because it's also a narrative on its own. I mean, all the works together, obviously. Fotodoc Casco Impact Center.
I would like to highlight that almost half, or more than half actually, of all the works in the exhibition are new commissions. And so they really refer to the concept, and they have been developed in collaboration with us. And we, as curators, have been developing this concept further, and so have the artists. And it's been really great seeing how everything is shaping up and coming together.
Yeah. Thanks. Then, Alex. Alex Aninkina, artist, filmmaker, researcher. Your work is mostly about text, language-based works, experimental films and objects. It's about exploring the human-technology relationship through experimental film. You make films. I saw a few of them. I recommend you to go online and watch them, because they are moving in a very intimidating way, I would say. Your work's been shown internationally. You also curated film programs, Moscow Experimental Film Festival, I believe. Now you're working on your PhD thesis at Goldsmith in London, and here you were responsible mainly for the film and screening program. What was your approach while choosing and selecting the work?
Well, thank you also for the unexpected promotion. I also want to add a little anecdote from our approach to post-truth, because the concept we developed and worked on together, and only then started to separate and conquer in the individual responsibilities. And the anecdote is this kind of a funny quote from the big orange guy from the pond, from across the pond, Donald Trump, who is the main character in this big spectacle called Post-Truth. And at some point on a real news channel, he said something like, the age of computing has made it so that no one knows exactly what's going on. And our impetus in constructing algorithmic superstructures, a metaphor for questioning and research, was exactly to kind of challenge this final diagnosis of post-truth and look at the reality of algorithms. So within the film screening program, for instance, it looks at the many challenges that the algorithms bring into audiovisual culture, but also to our everyday life as human subjects, but digital subjects in the first place, subjects to governments, to social media, to many agents. Tomorrow there will be a very interesting presentation in the first daytime screening called Automating Cinema. We'll have a live presentation from Bram and Pablo from iFilm Museum, who will present their collaborative work Yanbot, which is basically a bot that reconstructs assembles the new films from the vast archives of iFilm Museum, very much in tradition with this kind of experimental film history, but also in response to the current events because the bot links to the Twitter feed, interestingly. On Friday, we will look more into this reality and the materiality of algorithms. We'll have films from Ben Rivers and Emma Charles looking at the matters of planetary computation and data centers. And on Saturday, I highly recommend the closing screening by Christian von Boris, who's a filmmaker and composer based in Berlin. And the screening is called The Desert of the Real. And I think that's kind of an interesting note to finish on. Also nice note to go for drinks after, you know, because he explores in a very fantastic way the empire of images we inhabit, the semi-virtual, semi-real space that we come to.
And he's going to be here himself, huh?
Yeah, actually in the film screening, some of the artists will be present on each screening, which is, I think, a fantastic opportunity to discuss it with them.
And all the screenings are going to take place here in Het Huis, I believe.
Yeah, the screenings take place in Het Huis in Studio 3, which is a smaller studio upstairs.
Okay, thank you so much. Luba, one more question to you. We're going to watch now 2 short pieces from Mario Klingemann, influential artist, pioneer of creating algorithms in order to generate artwork. Can you tell us a little bit about his methodology, about his approach?
Yeah, so I see Mario Klingemann as one of the pioneers in this AI art or creative AI movement. And yeah, originally he was kind of a Flash-based artist, but in the past few years, as neural networks started to become popular for artistic creation, he has been experimenting with a variety of techniques, most recently GANs, so generative adversarial networks. And yeah, I guess they consist of 2 networks, one that kind of generates images based on lots and lots of data that it has been trained on, and the other tries to determine whether these images are fake or real. But yeah, Mario will actually be here in person tomorrow in the Creative AI panel, which I believe is at 1 p.m.
Right.
And he will detail a bit more about his technique, because of course there are many ways how you can apply this technique, and I think Mario puts kind of various layers and combines these tools to make sure that his work is aesthetically the cutting edge in the field. And in terms of the 2 clips that we will see now, one is a video for a music band called Frida Beast, I believe. And yeah, you will see kind of faces that will change style based on the rhythm of the music. And the second video is called My Artificial Muse, and it's part of his collaboration with Albert Barquet-Duran and Mark Marzenit, and yeah, you also see how this technology can be used to kind of depict faces and human figures. And in this collaboration, there was also an artist that would paint the kind of the images that were generated by Mario.
Okay, so finally, I just want to apologize to 3 of you for having such short time for such big ideas and concepts. You'll be having a curator's talk, I believe, Friday, huh? Friday morning at... Sorry? Here?
No, in Koepelzaal.
Koepelzaal. Okay, here in Het Huis. Thank you so much. And here's 2 pieces from Mario Klingemann.
You gotta learn to let it go. Let go of the things you really want the most. And if love is true, love will return to you, return to you. So here I stand, bringing things to an end, 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 bringing things to an end. Is
And here's Julia Kloiber, another warrior. She's a campaigner from Germany for the reuse of open data and the promotion of transparency. Currently, you work, Julia, as a fellow at the Mozilla Foundation, which works on the principle that the internet is, needless to say, but these days under threat, a global public resource that must remain open and accessible. That is also what you've been doing and working on and campaigning for and promoting over the years through the Code for Germany, the Prototype Fund, many other projects. And tomorrow you're here to deliver one of the keynote speeches of this festival. It's called Request for Optimism. I was happy to see that. Can you give us a small taste of what you're going to talk about tomorrow?
Sure. Tomorrow I'm going to take you through a wild ride through popular science fiction, because I want to explore what influence science fiction novels and films from the past 100 years had on technology development. Remember HAL 9000 or RoboCop, to mention some of the newer pieces. Because 500 years after the term utopia was coined for the first time, we're surrounded by all these dystopian narratives. The New Yorker writes, radical pessimism is a dismal trend. Tomorrow I want to talk about how we got there, who is shaping the discourse and the narratives, and how we might get out of it. I'm gonna spread some optimism, hopefully, and hope, and I want to share some visionary fiction projects that I very much like with you, and I don't want to spoil too much, that's why I'm stopping here. Even if you're not a science fiction geek or fan, join me tomorrow, it will be a fun talk, and discussion afterwards.
It's at what time?
It's tomorrow evening.
Tomorrow evening, right here, okay?
8 o'clock.
All right. One more thing, visionary fiction projects. Just a little glimpse, example, characteristic that jumps out for you.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about technology too much. That's not a spoiler, I guess. We're talking about communities a lot, how you can activate communities, what narratives do you need for community organizing. So some of the visionary projects focus on that.
Mm-hmm. Cool, we'll be there. Thank you so much, Julia. Now, it's my pleasure to announce the keynote speaker of tonight, Adam Greenfield.